ora ben matching eba Kessben match so bibia boko de mi hu wache so
yeah me nia me ho ye pa you deserve so ho ye
me hu ye pa na fe na ma fe o asa le me lan say mi hu traffic hu kra mi hu efi house ada bi
ziga se ma me ma hobi o
ziga de kai
na
ejiri yese jumbo boko nice. Now we are 2 days ago, I should say, and Nra and media many boss or many Nra now so now Ura Shafiq Suleiman, our acting executive commission, Emma PRC 2 Jadia. Now electricity has moved to 1.14% starting October 1st. You bet to me.
You bit to me, but I think that Jumadia PURC under Shafik there were a lot of complications, there were a lot of inconsistencies, and I think that it lacks transparency, and that also becomes PRC abese abe Juma Kua say no a Kua buying Eddie Pesika. Adini Juma, nti so pesika free Ghana for her because of say egnam kania ye be use no nti no say abribia no ye dey jetro, and I think that in recent times any hikes in the electricity tariff no a form of levy are buying a levy Ghanaians to pay certain sector inefficiencies. The India makers are say okay afi mu a we ka ho a yato kania mo prenai. But on a practical level, no, you are 2 more premiums. The India makers and prenai say, okay, me Kanian Tumuna a combining first quarter and also second quarter, and some about third quarter, and at the end of October, a fourth quarter, which means year we know quarter beyond your 2 enginam Kaniam. Your 2 enginam Kaniamwa, a 1 year my year. Mostly you have macroeconomic indicators, inflation and exchange rate. Now we have market driven indicators are the energy mix and also the cost of gas and as a cost of fuel. Mostly Chroma and friend weighted average cost of gas. Okay, these are the indicators are really share. And I mean May more a bra share more for the first and second quarter in April. Our implementation started May which are around 3rd May implementation started and another city 15 Ghana cedi 70 pesos and a share bo. And an inflation I projected that time 22% inflation. Now yes share one way started say discount and a cedi no appreciate within the first month of May cedi no appreciated by 11%. By June na cedi no appreciated by 34%. And anytime a cedi no be appreciated by that higher margin, it means that we are overpaying for the price of electricity. So OBB out here in the month of May overpaid the price of electricity by 34%. And government and subsidize amount because only 15.7 and a share board. And now who convert this can say what they call dollar ready for more Kanyana. Only 10 Ghana cedis 28 as a June. Until anyone who paid the electricity price as a June overpay the price of electricity by 34%. Yemo beyond CSR. We are no free another indicator edition born inflation. Inflation is who expect to say more cost of operations and as a general price of goods be increasing by a certain percentage. Until inflationary figure around 22%. Memphis say do June na inflation swat to about 13%. In this inflation April mo abra na wo shebo no na ye 22 averagely for a year. Now by May no actual inflation figure around 13%. It means that 9 percentage points na swati. Inti o expectation say nke wo se bo no by 20% no bo na nkonti obi bia utia kania in May on inflation so utia broso by 9 percentage points, which means o kania bo na ye din Ebros the Yanke was but Ghana so in the before the 3rd quarter, CEMSE and CAT International released statement said based on the appreciation of the city and also inflation triggered down was a yet in Amkania so no be because that over over recovery no, and as a windfall now, energy companies ni no, at least they must share the windfall with the electricity end user, and as I was so many enche. Meaning, I swana PURC omo concoct two figures. They just cook the figures because I buy a use PURC and they are mobilized revenue. They cook the figures and they came and told us that in the third quarter there was a minimum in 2.45%. Now 2.45%, the more reason somebody buy any. The 34% appreciation of 1.5. The inflation now a decline here by 9 percentage points no 1.5. Almost in a kabi in the third quarter and fourth quarter of 2024. Saka no mini untia, which is around 402 million Ghana cedis. Mini unebitia saka nti omo de saka ne buy. And omo ka say reserve margin. At that time I know we introduce reserve margin. Now reserve margin ended 18%. But almost reserve margin 18%. The figure for the reserve margin was not quoted in any either the announcement or either their tariff decision paper. Either there is gazetted one or moko gazette ya etuano or more sika was etua for the reserve margin. Minim say ni PURC enya figure na de be kan but the reserve margin can see etua. Omo wie no e no mo say the fuel cost. So fuel cost now buying air plan so we introduce the levy so e to fuel. But PURC SND 27% of fuel cost. Meaning I mean say koyo so fuel cost no say amount na your friend fuel cost no was not indicated in the announcement, neither was it indicated in the tariff decision I gazette mini utia until 27% of what amount you are paying for the fuel cost. But PURC concoct two figures and the question was say yentia. And once why yet one and that is where the inconsistency comes in. Yet almost releasing another tariff announcement. Almost releasing tariff announcement almost say in the third quarter near the 10 Ghana cedis 30 pesos and a share more. Name ye actual asset I find saying third quarter no cedi no I depreciated to 10 Ghana cedis 70 pesos, which means there's an under recovery of about 39 pesos or almost 40 pesos. So 40 pesos no almost minimum in Zambia. So when there is over recovery, you are not letting the Ghanaian benefit, but when there's under recovery, you want us to pay. That is what they are doing, and that is inconsistency. Ekotia Mrana established PURC because PURC was established to be balanced, fair, and in favor of either the utility or the electricity end user. But when they under Shafik, they were saying the position is abribia was benefiting the utilities and not the end user. And Yanhenia he's collapsing our industries. Yanhenia is increasing poverty levels because Minia say yet in the year na yen na yahye mra say ye pese nya fair electricity pricing. Na fair electricity pricing na say ba say ebebo consumer na pese bebo consumer na wa absorb size can watch ready. Na mum say ba say emo consumer na dia na wo dia be piece say yentua under recovery. The reason why almost somebody 1.14 e ba say almost say under recovery bi or 40 pesos e say bi new tua. And now almost a project say you see the no be depreciate further. Until you this CD depreciation further, which is around 11 Ghana cedis, 70 something pesos, no, and 40 pesos, maybe can one. A bema ne CD number you should the bono is around 12 Ghana cedis and some pesos. Until menu be body because of under recovery, but when there's over recovery, they don't want us to benefit, and that is not fair to the electricity end user locally. I think PURC must sit up because they were established to be fair and not unfair to Ghanaians.
Nsiah asema kind there me yama shime because me so me end user na me sure say tie for no mo show Kessben TV na no ebe yo mo wan kakra because like you rightly said that was what I was going to ask you say what is the prime focus of a PURC is for the end user anything na work on but sisi ano it is really I mean giving us a different turn but maybe same way I work kan yen nyina no clearly can your institution or anybody be jinemu among the ordinary Ghanaian or probably the end users to solve this problem probably at court or something? Can it be done?
Yeah, I think that CEMSE is a research organization. It's also an advocacy organization.
Okay.
Legal side and pressure group. But I think when the time comes, say all these legal issues are legal issues because I think PURC is overstepping their bounds. PURC, because of also their inefficiencies, is the reason why most of these utilities are not performing well, especially the discos. Because we are regulator now, regulator no now also a regulator no. What setting higher benchmarks? Benchmark or the discos no 21%. Omubusu Debia, you've never sanctioned any of them. Not in the public domain. One sanction will be out in the public domain. So if you are not sanctioning utilities, our mubu mraso, our mubu our benchmark so, but abribiana opisikano, now Ghana for Yongotia, and I think that it has become one too many say it has become a platform for revenue mobilization for central government. And Omar government they say, oh, eka edaho, kwajo eka ewo ECG, eka ewo netco, eka ewo VRA, enye minu miru ne boss aka. Because the sources of the canon have been established.
Oh, okay.
Not by PURC.
Okay.
Oko Ghana World Bank support you in 2019. Emma, ye presented a report, an Energy Sector Recovery Program report. The 6 sources of debt have been established. One of the sources they say ye over sign contract 44%. Sign contract over assignment or what we call excess capacity. No, it costs us. Any minimum you sign. The politicians not the sign. Minu, yes, the second one they say your gas supply contract. You oversign gas supply contract. It cost you $800 million. And you minu kodu minu sign. You see, back account system losses. System losses. It cost you almost $600 million. But you minu minu sign. Right. So why is it that the critical contributors, the 6 contributors of the debt in the power sector, no, are established by the Energy Sector Recovery Program no, and a report no, young conco address here, who you know through her. A ban we ban now year. Kwado Yetikroma KPMG report. It talks of procurement malpractices. It talks of frivolous procurement, mismanagement, and yeminu mienu and a commission's report no. A ban and a commission's report no. Yen influence the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. Onuamu report on missing containers. The report is not missing containers, but the highlight is missing containers.
Yeah.
We imported over 700%. Me 70 grams a year. The report says that we imported or demanded over 700% of suppliers and here. So there are internal issues compounding the debt situation of the sector. Instead of us addressing it, you know, abribian ye pesika yes oh timamufo metua na me no kasa you know say about lower middle income countries are Ghana ye ka ho. Ghana is one of the countries that have higher electricity tariffs. We pay almost 18 cents per kilowatt hour. Most of our peers in the lower middle income countries are paying 10.
Kessben.
Even Mina, the North African countries. I am from Middle East and North African countries. Mina, most of them are paying 4 cents per kilowatt hour. Obey not competing on after. So-called after Namadi Secretary Tabesi Hano. So the cheaper sources of energy are ultimately generating in the industry grow. Obey not competing. So the philosophy of PURC for the two say abribiano ye increase tariff. Omunim said they are collapsing our industry. Omunim said they are increasing poverty levels, and one of the reasons why I'm naming your poverty levels are increasing is because of PURC. Because at any time no, we increase electricity prices no. Now me savings are being commit me save the some investment no. Me three savings ni mu head yakutu ya kanyabo. Abroad the critical contributors of debt no, they are not addressing it. So PURC has been a bane to develop our development. I think that the president must set them up because omu under the president directly. Omu independent. Per the 538 that established it no. Shafiq and his boys are under the president, and I think the president must talk to them because they are likely going to collapse this economy with these inconsistent tariff hikes.
Because what can my dream sees? I asked the president the same question. FIA tariffs in Tamoye media encounter, and he was telling me so. And yes, Omukasa not just be increase and exact percentage. You know, more better so na ombishia PRC nesia so sinibishia no matena no me hawa or me fa so mbeye and this and many na ni hu kwan be fa so ebeye we na but nema okeke nyina no are excesses the ordinary Ghanaian, the end user, no man can effort, but yes, also like I'm saying, it's here the issue bay. Definitely, we're expecting water to also increase. Now, if water also increases, what it means is that projections are yen in Nema Kenyano. Raben, ebemu swa. or how can see na they bring because if today I mean as a manager here why a calculation say be to air power 15,000 Ghana cedis maybe every month. Now you're going to increase it. When you increase it, what it means again is that maybe want to mean susobio maybe why I say what sign at the back form to be in your budget that you planned probably ahead of you, and clearly metwa be how can I say I had any pa.
Oh yes, I had because government pushes among for so a lot of clean energy.
Yes,
most of the research CEMSE are conducted within energy utilization at the household level. Which say electricity is the cheapest source of energy. It's cheaper than LPG. It's cheaper than charcoal. It's cheaper than wood fuel. Electricity is cheap. In this cheap at the household level. Say bit media no say cleaner. Even as part of your movement to increase the usage of clean energy, no crano, a bit me my electricity, I the bit media no be but consistently, we increase it consistently, to mamu without even verifiable data, cookie data no say chiwa no way be free. For example, some catch was a third quarter when they introduced the tariff decision, or we introduced 27% fuel, but mean the fuel no what the actual amount is. Almost a reserve margin. Why didn't they bring the reserve margin and the 27% in the fourth quarter? I didn't know man. Have we stopped procuring fuel? Has the reserve margin stopped? So they pick and choose. And because Ghanaians sit on concern, say if you want stable power, you must pay higher. There are countries, even Ivory Coast. Wow. It was stable power saying, but they are paying less. There are countries having stable power, they are paying less. Okay. There are countries are per capita so change. There are countries are GDP so change. Okay. What is that problem? We need to address it. Okay. And PURC also address it and always come to us and then be increasing tariff anyhow.
All right. But I say, Ora Ben, Repemini, best for any anyway, didn't come with Medasapa. All right. Yene opinion order a Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy. Ora Benjamin Sian and no 18